Today, we're tackling an absolutely crucial foundational step for anyone working with data. We're looking at how to combine messy, disconnected data in Power Query to build pristine, ready-to-use reports. Let's be real, if you've ever stared at multiple files and just wondered how to seamlessly stitch them together, well, you're in exactly the right place. To keep things simple, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the data combination dilemma. Break down merging tables and join types, look at appending tables, do a little housekeeping, and finish up with a foolproof Power Query blueprint.
All right, Section 1, the data combination dilemma. So in real-world projects, data never, and I mean literally never, conveniently lives in just one perfectly formatted table. It's usually scattered all over the place. Now, if you've only ever worked with a single table, you probably haven't had to worry about this. But as soon as you have, say, an orders table in one place and a categories table in another, a pretty massive question arises. We definitely don't want to leave these tables completely separated in our data model, because that makes them super hard to analyze together. We want to bring them into one cohesive view inside Power Query, which leaves us facing two very distinct choices.
And this brings us to what I like to call our tale of two techniques. Merging acts exactly like zipping a jacket together side by side. You're essentially combining columns from different tables. Appending, on the other hand, well, that acts a lot like stacking identical Lego blocks on top of each other. You're combining rows to make a table longer, not wider. Moving right along to Section 2, merging tables and adding columns. If you have a background in SQL, you might already know merging as joining, but whatever you want to call it, the absolute golden rule here is that both tables must contain a key. This is a shared column holding the exact same type of values. Think of it like the teeth on that jacket zipper we just talked about. Without matching teeth, Power Query literally has no idea how to lock the rows from table A to the rows in table B.
To see why this is so incredibly useful, imagine a real-world scenario. Let's say your main sales data contains messy abbreviations for product categories, like ACC or ELECT. Your dashboard users aren't going to know what those mean. So you can actually create a manual helper table right inside Power Query to map those short abbreviations out to friendly names like accessories and electronics. In this case, that category short column becomes our matching key.
The crucial part is how you actually execute this. You'll open the Merge Queries menu, select your primary sales table, and then select your new categories target table. Then you just highlight those matching key columns. But okay, here's a weird little quirk about Power Query. It doesn't instantly show you the joined data like SQL does. Instead, it actually nests the result. It drops a column that just says the word table. You have to manually click the little expand icon on that new column to finally reveal your beautiful, newly merged friendly category names. Okay, Section 3, understanding join types. When merging, you've got to make a pretty major decision about which data stays in your final result and what gets left on the cutting room floor. Now, please don't let these different join types overwhelm you. You've got inner joins to keep matching records, full outer joins for the big picture, anti-joins for unmatching data. But here's the secret. 90% of the time in standard reporting, you're going to rely entirely on the default setting, the left outer join. So why is the left outer join the undisputed champion of data modeling? Because it perfectly protects your critical primary data, like your core sales transactions. It's never going to delete a sale just because it can't find a category match. Instead, it safely enhances that sales data with whatever matches it can find from your helper table. And if it doesn't find a match, it just returns a null, which ensures your precious sales data remains fully intact. Let's jump into Section 4, appending tables by stacking rows. Let's pivot away from zipping our tables sideways and talk about making them longer. What if a system exports your data in split chunks? Like, say you get one file for January's orders and a completely separate file for February's orders. They have the exact same structure. Merging makes absolutely no sense here, right? You don't want to add January's columns next to February's. You want to stack them. This is exactly where we use the append feature. Now, pay close attention here because the workflow is actually backwards from merging. With merging, you usually clean up your individual tables first and then combine them. But with appending, you bring all the raw source files together first into one massive table. Then you perform your global cleanup, like aggressively removing duplicates that might have sneaked in across the monthly files and renaming this final massive result into a master orders table.
All right, Section 5, housekeeping and final polish.
Once our tables are fully combined, using either Merge or Append, we enter the highly satisfying final stage. This step is all about making your dataset clear, clean, and ultimately business-friendly. Because raw data is chaotic. You might have leftover helper columns you use during your merges. Just go ahead and delete them. You might have table names like sales_flat table V2. Yeah, we want to fix that to a simple sales. You really want to standardize your naming conventions so that things like order ID and customer ID follow the exact same visual pattern. And the final touch of a true professional is column ordering. To make navigating your final data an absolute breeze for whoever builds the dashboard, you should logically reorder your columns. Put the primary key on the far left. Strictly group your entities, so put product name right next to product category. And finally, leave your dates and your numerical measures, like price and amounts, tucked neatly away at the far right of the table. And finally, Section 6, the Power Query Blueprint.
Look, if you just click around randomly in Power Query, your data transformations are going to become a chaotic, error-prone mess. But by strictly following this exact chronological blueprint in every single project, you protect yourself. First, connect to your data. Second, immediately drop what you don't need. Third, clean up your types and spaces. Fourth, execute your merges and appends. And finally, do your housekeeping. If you follow this, you will consistently transform scattered sources into perfectly structured models that are ready for complex calculations and stunning dashboards.
Data rarely comes to us perfectly prepared, but now you have the precise tools to stitch it, stack it, and polish it. So, with this ultimate Power Query blueprint now in your toolkit, what messy datasets are you going to confidently conquer and combine today? Thank you so much for joining this explainer. Grab this blueprint and go turn that disconnected data into your next great insight.